when you think about it, everybody is always selling, right? For those of us that's married, we had to sell our spouse. For those of us that's parents, we had to sell our children. A lot of the time, our children selling us, right? If we got jobs, even if you're not in sales, some employer called entrepreneur when they sold some business to somebody to give you an opportunity to have a job, right? If you're a business owner watching this, well, you certainly selling, or you're not a business owner. You may have an LLC, but if you ain't got no sales, you ain't got no business. Well, the thing that I love most about sales, outside of the fact that we always selling, is that we can always learn something about sales from somebody. And so my wife and I, we getting ready to go on the cruise. We going on, I think, an 8-day cruise to Norwegian, depending on the time this drop. I may just be on there already. And because of that, we going shopping, right? I don't shop a lot like I used to anymore. Thank God I got free from being addicted to consumerism. But when we going somewhere, I go and do my thing or whatever. So we went out to the mall. I found some shoes online that I like, right? Some New Balances specific. I done bought a bunch of other stuff already. These like the last little pieces. And my wife, now she shopped. So she got some type of special discount or something with ordering some New Balance, but I'm like, I don't know my size. I said, I'm going to physically need to go in the store. I'm going to physically go in the store, try them on, and then you could do your thing, get the 15% off whatever you was going to do. So we go out to the mall. We walking trying to find a New Balance store. But by the time we do all this, we find this store called Journeys. I see not the exact shoe I wanted, but similar shoe as to what I wanted sitting on the wall. So I was like, yeah, I could just go in here, pick one of these out, try this on. Then you can order it online. So we go in, and I actually end up liking the shoe a lot that I saw that I was going to take just to try it on. A young woman walk up to me. She probably like 20, very unassuming in nature, but her personality game was on point. And she was like, hey, what can I help you guys with today? And I said, actually, you got this in the 9. And so she go in the bag. She back there for a minute. So I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, which ones you got, this and that? She comes back out with 4 boxes. So we already know that there's a big problem. Either I'm buying a lot more shoes than what I asked for, or they don't got the one that I want. Well, it was the latter of the two. They ain't had the one that I wanted. But her being perceptive enough of what? That she had a buyer in the building. Now, the funny part is she didn't know everything I'm telling y'all right now, that my intent wasn't to buy them. My intent was to try them on and then buy them online. But she had me at hello. And then when she came out with 4 pairs of shoes, now I'm like, I got to buy something. Because here's the thing. The best salespeople are the best buyers. Because I deem myself as being a pretty good salesperson, well, it ain't just because I got the skills of selling. It's because I understand the law of reciprocity. I understand that when somebody does a good job and they're succeeding at serving you, then you should probably buy something from them. Don't that make sense to you, or am I tripping? Right? If somebody is going above and beyond to serve me and they're giving me what I want or they're exceeding my expectations, then I probably should reciprocate in the form of buying something or transacting with them. That's just the way I think. Maybe that's why my life has been so fruitful. You should try it if you don't operate like that. She comes out with all these various pairs of shoes and she like, look, I don't got that exact one, but I got this colorway, this colorway, this colorway, same style shoe. And if none of those tickle your fancy, I just bought out a whole different shoe that is in the same colorway that you wanted. Maybe you'll like this one. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through, and then, stuff was a half size too big. So she run into the bag. I can't even articulate to y'all how good she was just in her level of service. So now all of a sudden, me and my wife, we talking off to the side, this and that. She senses that my wife now has piqued the interest in the original shoe that I picked up that they didn't have in my size. So now my wife asking her, do they got her size in this particular shoe, the one I picked up, by the way. She's like, let me go check. So now she not only made friends quickly with me, she made friends quickly with my wife. Now you got double trouble. So now here's the guy who didn't intend on even buying a shoe, is not only buying a shoe that I didn't even intend on buying, but now I got my wife ready to shop. So now I'm about to end up buying her some shoes. When all was said and done, my wife and I both walked out of there with 2 pairs of shoes and 2 pairs of socks. And I got in the car and I told my wife, I said, I got to shoot a YouTube video on that. She was like, what? I said, I got to shoot a podcast on this because this is $1 million lesson from a 20-year-old salesperson. I want to give y'all 3 takeaways that I took from this experience that you can adopt in your business right now, that she's doing, she's not even consciously thinking about doing. And it's the A.S.K framework, A.S.K. It's the A.S.K framework. Number 1, she asked a lot of questions in the beginning from the time I walked in to let me know that I was seen, heard, and that what I wanted was important to her. The other thing she did was recognize, see, a lot of the time when we're in business, somebody may be at our event, somebody may be at our webinar, Somebody may be sitting across from us sometimes. And we just assume that they're a tire kicker. We just assume that they don't have the money. We just assume everything outside of they ready to buy something from. What happens when you assume that they ready to buy? What happens when you open yourself up to the idea that no, they came here because they want to buy something? Now, by the way, that don't mean you force feed something down their throat. It still needs to be their decision. But what if your perspective shifted? What if you stopped closing yourself off from the idea that people here want to buy what you're selling? I just want you to consider something for a sec. Her belief in me being a buyer was so strong that she made me one. Yes, I was a buyer. I was going to get the shoe and then go online and let my wife do her thing. But I was so compelled at this young lady's level of service. I was so compelled by her level of commitment that I was served, that I felt responsible to buy something from her. When the last time somebody had an encounter with you and you did so great at serving them that they felt compelled that they had to give you some money? They almost walked away feeling guilty as if they robbed you if they didn't give you some money. When the last time you had that experience? Because that's exactly what she had going on. I told my, when we got in the car, I told my wife, I said, if she stay in sales, she don't even understand who and what she is right now. When she actually started to be able to synthesize and put some framework around what I'm explaining to y'all right now, and she does this with intention, with her level of attention, it's game over. And guess what? If you do, it will be for you too. So number one, she asked questions and she did not close herself off. She assumed this man in the store, he want to buy something. I'm going to find the thing that he wants to buy. Number two, she's solution oriented. See, a lot of people would have looked at the fact that I came in with a specific ask. They didn't have that shoe and they would have just came back out the back empty handed. It was like, yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have it. You want me to order it? No, I don't want you to order it. Y'all know that's always the answer, right? You want me to order from? No, I don't want you. No, I was here physically. If I wanted to order something, I would have just ordered. I'm here physically because I want to physically buy something. She's solution oriented. So the A is for ask, the S is for solution. She came out solution oriented. How many times have you been in a situation where you were selling your product or your service and you may have mentioned the wrong aspect of your offer? So let's just say, as an example, you're helping people set up an e-commerce store. And part of the reason why they want to do it is because they believe that that's a hands-off way for them to make residual income. But because you heard that they were retired, you may have assumed that they were getting into e-com because they wanted to have something to do. So you may have talked about the wrong aspect of the offer, which kind of turned them off because they're like, no, actually, I retired from my other thing. I want to deploy the capital into this business, but I don't want to be a part of it. Because of that, you get discouraged and then you shut down and totally miss out on the fact that all because they countered what you said doesn't mean that you quit. It means that you pivot. Oh yeah, totally get that, right? I feel it. Totally get what you're saying. Here's what I discovered. Boom, boom, boom. You should just take the pivot, not shut down and quit. All too often because you were so fixated thinking this is the thing that's going to close them. And then when they oppose what you're talking about, you just shut down. And that's not the proper way to sell. You need to take the pivot. Oh, okay, great. I'm so glad you told me that. The good news is we have a wide array of different products that we offer depending on the need. So what exactly is your need? I must have missed that. Oh, you actually looking for more of a hands-off approach. Okay, excellent. So we do have our done for you service as well as our done with you. I thought you wanted to do the done with you. So yeah, so let's talk about the done for you. That is the same equivalent of her saying, oh yeah, I ain't got this shoe back here, but I got a shoe back here that's going to fit his need. And she was right. She pulled out one. It would have been the last shoe I would have picked on the wall just based on the colorway, but it was super comfortable and it checked the box at the end of the day. So you got to be solution oriented. Don't show up with problems, show up with solutions. And then last, the K, she knew her audience. She's very perceptive. Even at 20, you can tell that she really studies her clientele as they come in. And by the way, we were at the outlet mall. So I know the foot traffic is crazy coming through there. And we were at Journeys, my wife and I being on the higher end of millennials, and she was Gen Z. I can only imagine the level and the variety of people that she study on a day in and day out basis. But I know whether intentionally or not, she's studying people because she knew exactly how to interact with us, how to make friends quickly, how to be relatable, even though there was such an age disparity where she related to us while we also could relate to her. She just did an amazing job. That's the ask framework. The A is for she asked a bunch of questions. The S is for she was the fact that she was solution oriented. And the K was that she knew her audience. So let me ask you this question. What happens to you in your business? You can ask more questions to really understand the need of your potential client. Be solution oriented. If at any juncture of that conversation, you run into a roadblock, you don't quit, you pivot. You don't quit, you pivot. You have to learn how to talk about your offer in a way that you can take pivots and talk about it differently to repackage it for that person. Talk to them about the part that's important to them. How many times have you had somebody look at your offer and they like, those two already got? Yeah, so what would it be just for the other two? I'm sorry, what'd you mean? Well, I like these two I already got, these other two. Oh, I see you trying to order it like hotcakes and sausage. That's not what this is. And while I can appreciate those other elements that you have, these are the ones that fix your problem. And just as a bonus in this particular case, then you'll just have those other two that you can go through and refine and compare notes. And maybe it's even a couple levers you could pull in. Because, we don't sell it a la carte. But these are the elements that you need within it. And again, I'm sure you'll probably find some gold in the other ones too. Being solution oriented. Ask questions, be solution oriented, and know your audience. You do them 3 things, you're going to make some more money. Ask me how I know. She just got my money. I was not going in there to buy nothing from her. And we left out of there with 2 pair of shoes and 2 packs of socks. And by the way, on the muscle, I grew up in that space, right? My first couple real jobs were in shoe stores when I was in high school. I understand that they work on this thing called multiple. So selling 2 pair of shoes is a multiple, but then when you can start selling accessories, that's a whole different level of commission in multiple. So without her even articulating that, when she was like, hey, I actually can give you a discount on these socks, I did that just because I liked her so much and I knew what that meant for her internally if I were to get multiple. So what's my point in that? When you serve people at the highest level, they find a reason to like you, they'll go above and beyond to make sure that you're served as well. Selling ain't got to be this bad thing that everybody try to portray it to be. It can actually be a beautiful thing when everybody gets what they want.